The Indian Ocean off the coast of South Africa. A Greek luxury cruise ship, the Oceanos, is making a leisurely trip around the Cape of Good Hope. The passengers bask in the sunshine, unaware that in the next few hours their excursion through paradise will become a nightmare in hell. When the ship enters the treacherous waters of the notorious Wild Coast, a heavy storm forces the vessel too near the shore. Back at sea, a breach in the hull is discovered. The enormous liner begins to founder. It's taking on water fast and listing dangerously. The 500 passengers are astounded to discover that the captain and his crew have already abandoned ship, leaving them on their own. One of the onboard entertainers, guitarist Moss Hills, is among the first to notice that the ship is sinking and that the passengers are alone.
And suddenly here was this water rushing down a passageway. And I had my small video camera with me, and I knew that things weren't right, so I started to film.
Right down below now, there's water everywhere. It's sloshing about side to side.
With the captain and crew gone, Moss takes it upon himself to organize the evacuation of 500 passengers. He manages to get half of the tourists into lifeboats with the help of his fellow entertainers. But then the sinking ship pitches to an alarming 40-degree angle. The remaining lifeboats cannot be launched. There are still more than 200 people on board and the boats are useless. Moss and one of his colleagues race to the bridge to try and call for help.
National Sea Rescue need a spare channel. Can you help over?
5 agonizing hours pass before the South African Air Force rescue helicopters arrive.
It was very difficult for the helicopters to be able to lower anyone. The ship's on its side, it's rolling around in the storm, plus there's wind blowing, so the helicopter Navy guys who came down were on very long ropes and swinging from side to side, very hard for them to get on board.
Time is rapidly running out as the ship sinks deeper into the ocean. Moss lashes himself to a rail, helping to guide the rescue officer on board.
I grabbed their legs to pull them down, and we got 2 divers on board that way. And when they got on board, they said, look, the situation's worse than they anticipated. We were starting to tip up in the bow now. We were going down.
As soon as the officer touches down, they begin strapping the passengers into the harness, women and children first. The ship is now sinking fast. There are only minutes left before it will disappear under the waves. The guitarist hurries the last tourist to safety. Then, when everyone is clear, straps himself and his wife in, and they are lifted off.
Towards the end, I did have fairly dark thoughts, but I just always think, well, I'll get out of it somehow.
In its final moments afloat, the Oceanus tilts forward into a vertical descent. It hovers for a few moments before settling down to an eternal grave at the bottom of the ocean. Back on shore, the distressed passengers reunite with their friends and family. Every single soul has been saved, thanks to the bravery of one man.
For me, worse than the fear of actually sinking, I think, was the fear of failing all these people who put their trust in us.
The captain, who deserted his ship and left 500 people to die, remained stubbornly unrepentant.
When I order abandon the ship, it doesn't matter what time I leave. Abandon is for everybody. If some people like to stay, they can stay.
I wouldn't expect anybody, any captain or anyone in authority, to die to save me, but I do expect them to do their duties.
Although the ship was lost, all 557 passengers and crew were saved by a ship's guitarist. Still to come on Code